Yeah. You approach recent projects, and they seem to speak to higher ideals of humanity, which I've also really appreciated. Were these ideals always present, or has it kind of just gone that way towards like motivating factors of what your dance is kind of depicting? Because it for instance, Prism to me really delved into that idea of like community. It's how we approach community, it's how we approach society, and I really appreciated that about that performance. Has that always been there, or is it something that's kind of evolved through time in your storytelling?
Can I start, Emmanuel?
Yeah, you should answer.
I would say personally for me, it's a lot about spirituality, personally, and that for me has always been prevalent always been important in my life. I see dancing as a medium to access my higher consciousness, to heal my traumas, to align my body. In a way, like yoga is a spiritual practice. I feel that dancing, I approach that in a similar way, in a holistic way. So for me personally, everything in life is about that. You cannot remove spirit from anything. So for me, dancing in itself is a prayer. So therefore, for me, every show is speaking of that. Like I don't personally see it as creating shows. I think it's more of like it's almost like you're creating a portal or like a vortex that you're trying to bring in some positivity or download some messages to bring some good. I feel like a big part of our work is to connect to the present moment, to be lucid in your trance, to not to lose to the trance, to not be lost in your dance, but to be aware in your present. And in every show we breathe together, and we could be one body, and we try to communicate a lot non-verbally. So even though every show is speaking about different thing, and I may be a little bit more of a person that like to put meaning on everything. That's maybe a little bit more an obsession for me, that I feel for me to make sense, I need to have certain meaning. It's just kind of how I see life and things. And so for me, yes, to answer your question, it's always been there, and personally.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's such
I
a
think
beautiful
Emmanuel can
answer.
add to.
One expresses it very well. I don't think I have that much to add, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's lovely. Well, okay, so I'm going to push the ball over to you, my dear. In 2023, is it, and you can correct me if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, okay? Is it Correcasse? Correcasse?
Correcasse.
Correcasse. Merci. Correcasse, the street dance battle, it took shape in 2023. This was your guys' production, Tentacle Tribes, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about what inspired it, and what are the hopes tied to its future?
So just to go back at the origin of this, I moved to Quebec City.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be in Montreal, where the company was, and I moved to Quebec City for family. So I'm still Tentacle Tribe, I still commute, but I'm in this new city, Quebec City, and I'm discovering what's the scene here, and through the year, like on the third, fourth year, I was like, okay, maybe I could start something. I think like with the experience that me and Alon and Tentacle Tribe had touring, we toured a lot of hip hop festivals throughout the years, Amsterdam, London, Sweden, Denmark. There's a lot of hip hop festivals out there that are showcasing hip hop creators, hip hop choreographers. on stage, and not just battles, but the other aspect of hip hop. You know, there's battles, there's workshops, and there's also, you can present hip hop on stage as well. So I'm like thinking, oh, maybe this could be interesting for the city of Quebec. That is known to be like more of like a rock city, rock and roll city, but there's still like a tiny little bit of a new generation of street dancers that are coming up. Also because of the Olympics, with breaking being there, like I think there's a lot of hype with that. So I'm just like riding that wave and being like, okay, why not? Like, so I organized a few battles like in 2003, 2024, 2023 and 24, and then this year in 2025 I'm expanding it into like a 4-day event where there's going to be like stage performances by choreographers, companies, and then there's going to be like master classes by renowned dancers, street dancers, and then there's going to be also battles, exhibition battles. And yeah, so it's a new project of mine to really develop the scene in Quebec City, but also give the chance to other hip hop companies in Quebec or like maybe in Canada to tour their work, because there's not that many opportunities to tour their work, you know. So it's a new project.
Yeah.
Street dance is very heavily community based, and I think it's like also a way to give back to the community. I mean, Emmanuel is now a senior in the scene here, being from Montreal or being from Ottawa, but being from Canada. I think it's kind of a natural step as well to I don't know if you were thinking about that at maybe Emmanuel, or it's just naturally is coming, but I feel like that it's something that is on my mind a lot lately more, that like, okay, what can you do to give back to the community or inspire the youth, to make the circle complete in a way.
Exactly.
Yes, and I must admit, I really appreciated that when I was doing a little bit of research into your previous battles through video, and that I could really feel that, you know, with the youth and feeling like I'm being heard, you know, and that was just so wonderful. And it's so nice that you're delving into reaching youth and the community itself, and putting Quebec kind of up there, you know, giving them a name outside of, like you said, rock and roll.
I mean, I don't want to say there was hip hop here before. I'm not like reinventing anything. I just want to add to the scene, you know. It's a very studio competition hip hop. There's a lot of studios and young kids, but when they get older, they go to Montreal, you know. So
right,
I want to have like street dancers be able to mature in their own cities in Quebec City.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city too, for sure. Why not, right? Okay. This one might be leaning more towards you, Elon. Dirt is your latest pursuit. Your last production, Prism, talked of the illusion while still looking at humanity through a communal lens. However, this conceptual dance piece seems to bring us back to earth. Dirt brings us back to earth. I know, no pun intended, maybe. I don't know, maybe all pun intended. But after exploring the more ethereal concepts of prison, what were the foundations and ideas that brought this piece to life? Because it is kind of pushing away from the prism concept.
Yeah, in a way it is, and in a way it's not, because really about perception of reality, and that the fact that what we are experiencing is such a small sliver of reality. Like even light, it's just a tiny friction of the electromagnetic spectrum, right? So it's kind of like that, like wonder of like what else is out there, or the possibility that we are more than our body, that we are a spirit, a multidimensional being, possibly. And I would say dirt, in a way, is the opposite, but at the same thing. It's really like about connecting to our heart, or to our roots, or to our gut. It was really about movement in general. Like the first. As a child, what draw me into dancing, or like saved me really, like what like the outlet that well created so much positivity for me, really, really like saved my life. So the concept, like everything for me, is not just one thing. The idea dirt, it's more of an idea, a concept. Dirt, it's an oxymoron. Dirty can be bad. The dirty in hip hop often is good. It's like, oh, that's dirty, like nice. So also the play of word, dirt, of course, as well, is soil. We all come from soil. We return from soil. It was, yeah, the show is really about returning to source in all its aspect. Uh, I mean, the core idea really came from the feeling of us as a humanity stepping too far from alignment with nature. I feeling that we are, as a culture, or if I would say humanity as a culture, the whole civilization of humanity, I feel like we are focusing too much on our logic side of our brain. It's like we're experiencing everything through a logic angular lens, while we are dual. We are both energy, circular and angular. So it was, how can we bring back our respect and our love for the planet, and knowing that we are the planet, we are part of the planet, we are not separated from it. And how, what would that mean today if we would be able to reinvent ourselves? So I feel like most industry are only focusing on production or economical winnings, while I feel like our priorities are wrong. I feel like humanity come first. We need to see everything through a sustainable lens, how I see it, and I don't feel like we are. So obviously it's dance. It's not I don't know how much people will get out of it when they see this show, but that's what it means to me. It was really about that, like reconnecting to earth and nature and ourself, but also therefore our higher selves.